Being on maternity leave doesn't mean you can't get a mortgage. It can actually make life that little bit easier to go through the process where you have a little bit more flexibility while being off work. So why wait for all the stress of returning to work and then trying to move at the same time? I had a client who came to me recently because they were looking to move, but they were waiting for themselves to return to work after maternity. Um, and they were just sort of trying to prep everything that they needed and what sort of affordability they could have. So I explained to them that actually you can still move while you're on maternity if you choose to. So we went through the affordability by taking her last payslip prior to going on maternity. We also took her recent payslips and we worked out what she would be on when she returned back to work. It all met the affordability, and it meant that she could take and get a mortgage while being on maternity, which just was thrilling to her, if I'm honest, because it meant that all the stress of trying to return to work, settle her new son into nursery and moving home was just really daunting, but she knew she had to do it because she had outgrown her current home. So we was able to go through to the right lender. We processed that mortgage and actually it went to offer really quickly. And all they wanted to know really is what her income is going to be when she returns to work and what her future childcare costs will be. So here are 5 things you need to consider if you're on maternity leave and you're looking to get a mortgage. If you're currently employed, the lender is only going to take into account your basic income. So any overtime, bonus or commission can't be used for your affordability. We're going to take your last payslip prior to going on maternity. We're going to take your most recent payslips while you're on maternity. And we're going to look for a letter from your current employer that will state what day you're going back to work on and what your income will be when you do return to work. If you're self-employed, we're not going to be able to take any statutory maternity pay you may receive from the government into account. But what we can do is we can look to take your latest year's earned income, or we can average that out over 2 years for yourself. Any future childcare costs that you're going to have when you do return to work will be taken into account in regards to the affordability. We need to make sure it's affordable now and in the future. If you do all of this process while you're on maternity leave, it means there's no need to change your childcare once you have moved. Now, we all know how stressful that can be, not just for the child, but also for the adults and the parents. It can be a really stressful process. So doing it while on maternity means you can all be settled into the childcare before you return to work. It allows you to refocus on returning to work. We all know what it can be like when you've been off work for a long time and then you have to go back. It can be really stressful. And then you add a new baby and moving home into the mix can just make that really daunting. So actually sorting this all out prior to going back to work can be it can be less stressful for yourself. So just to recap, the 5 things to consider if you're looking to get a mortgage while you're on maternity is: number 1, we're only going to look at your basic income. We're going to need your previous pay slips as well as a return to work letter. Number 2, if you're self-employed, we're not going to be able to take any statutory maternity pay into account, but we can use the latest year's figures or we can average this out over 2 years. Number 3, any future childcare costs that you're going to incur will be used in the affordability. Number 4, if you're moving home, you don't need to change childcare because you're already going to have the right childcare based on where you're working. And number 5, you can just make the process of moving back into the workplace a little bit less stress-free because you can focus on returning to work because you've settled into your new home with the right childcare. So that's the 5 things that I think you need to consider when you're looking to move home and you're on maternity leave. So tell me, guys, how's it been for yourself when you've returned to work after being off maternity leave? And check out my page for more hints and tips on what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to applying for a mortgage. And if you want that no-cost credit file option, just drop a comment below and I'll send a link over.